Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'm here today with day one of our week of tea boutique. I'm super excited for this. So this is technically the second video that I'm doing. The first video that I did was showing you how I put the cards together. But I mean, you know, for those who are advanced, you know how to put the cards together, you know how to use the set. And so instead of that being the first video, what I'm going to do is just attach me putting the cards together to this video. And so when we're done with the tutorial of the box, if you want to continue watching of how I put the cards together, you can absolutely do that. So today is going to be the boxes and the cards. I think that'll be a little better video. But what I'm going to do is tell you all the products that I used throughout the week. I'm just going to tell you now, so that way I don't have to repeat it on every single video to kind of save time. But I do have everything written out. You can read it here clearly, or I'll type it out so you know what we're going to do. So I'm going to show you real quick in the catalogs where you can find what I used. Obviously, the Tea Boutique is the first thing. That is on page 12 and 13. I used the stamp set. I used the dies. I used the paper, which is 6x6 paper. I cannot put the paper into the camera or it turns my lighting to like a weird yellow. So I'll just show you the paper here. There's paper. So I have the entire suite, but I did not use the cards and the envelopes because I did 3x3 cards. So here's everything. I did do a video on this, so you can see each page. I did it when I first got it. Okay, so page 122 is going to be your ink pads and your cardstock. Okay. So quickly, I don't have any of the ink colors, and all of the ink colors are in this paper collection, but I had to use what I have because, yes, I would love your sales or your purchases, but I don't want you to ruin your budget. Use what you have first and then buy the new stuff, okay? Because that's what I do, and I mean, everyone's budget is different. So I used Gorgeous Grape. I used Real Red, Cherry Cobbler, Oat Olive, Crushed Curry, and Blackberry Bliss. I used the ink pad. As you can see, it's Regals heavy because I have the entire collection of Regals because those are my favorite colors. So those are the main stamp pads that I have. And then I used Petal Pink. And then Basic White, Basic Black. Okay. Next, page 127, I want to show you the dimensionals. There's two different sizes, two different colors. You get them white or you can get them black. You get them small, you get them regular. Okay, dimensionals. I want to show you this here, page 127. It is a fine tip glue pen, which is very easy to use when you're trying to put your little, like your floral die cut onto the solid die cut. You're going to need a fine tip. Now, I cannot use Stampin' Up! Glue because it is latex based and I'm allergic, so I have to use my own. But I just wanted to share with you that Stampin' Up! Does have that fine tip. So here's the two dies. Okay. Great. Let's see. 128 Wink of Stella, which we love. Wink of Stella is number 5 on page 128. Page 129, VersaMark. I did use that a couple times. I don't remember where, but I used VersaMark. I wrote it down, so I used it. 137, I used the 3x3 envelopes. 3x3 envelopes, I use a lot of those. 142, 143 are the gems. I used the flowers, flower adhesive back trinkets. I used the butterflies. I think I used the brush metallic dots. I used the basic rhinestones, and I used the classic matte dots, which are up here. Okay. I also used one other, and I'll show you that in just a minute because it's not in this catalog. All right, and then page 155, the take your pick tool. I use that, which is this tool right here. I do want to tell you that this is my second one that I bought. The first one I could not use because it was latex and I'm allergic, and so I called and they said, well, they're pretty sure that this new batch was not latex, and so I just sent the other one back. They sent me this one, and it's not latex, and I can use it, and I love it. Okay, so there you go. All right, the other gems that I used were in the mini catalog, July through December 2022, page 19. These right here, adhesive back, sequins and gems, page 19, right there. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much everything that I used, so that way we can just get that out of the way. And like I said, I'm not going to share every single video what I used. Okay, let's get into our box. I'm so excited for this box. So it looks like a regular box. Ho hum boring, but wait till you see. Ta-da! It is a tea and card caddy. So super cute, featuring our 4 cards that I put together. Again, I will have it at the end of this video if you want to see it. The tea box does fit the Bigelow, the Tazo, the Twinings. I tried a couple of different brands just to make sure it all fit, and they all fit. American brands, obviously. I'm pretty sure the British brands are the same. I had some tea from Betty's. I just didn't bring it downstairs. So now, for your box, if you want yours exactly like mine is going to be one of 2 ways. Either the tea is going to be on the left, or it's going to be on the right. Here's my prototype. Here's the one I made, okay? Doesn't matter, just depends on which side you use as the top, which side you use as the bottom. Whichever side you decorate, that's going to be your top. So yeah, so as you can see, my prototype fits nicely and gorgeously. This is a little bit over because you know what? I mismeasured. Not gonna lie. But you know, the average person is not going to pick that out. They're just going to see this beautiful display, 4 tea bags and 4 cards. They're going to love it. Your craft show people are going to love it. So don't throw it away, because that's wasting a whole entire piece of cardstock. So there you go. All right, let's go. We are going to need a piece of paper, cardstock, whatever you want to use. It's going to be 7 3/4 by 9 1/2. Okay, 7 3/4 by 9 1/2, and I need a scoreboard. Oh yeah, I used the scoreboard too. That's in the catalog. Okay, on the short side, so put your 7 3/4 at the top. Get your scoring tool. And we are going to score it at 1, 1, and 6 3/4. Okay. Now this next score line I'm going to do, this is an optional score line. It's just so I know where to put my little divider piece here. Okay, you can barely see it on the top lid. You can see it better here because I did it hard. So this is your optional score line. This is just so you can line up your divider without having to measure anything. Okay, so you don't have to do this next score line, but if you want to, do it lightly. This is going to be 4 1/4. So I'm just going to take the little side and just do it very, very lightly. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to use the bigger side. So that score line is just, I mean, you could do it with a pencil instead of a score tool. For me, it's easier with a score tool, but again, that's an optional score line. We're not going to fool with it anything other than to line up our box. Okay. Alright. So now we're going to rotate it on the long side, and we're going to do 1. We're going to do 4 1/4, press hard, because this is an actual scoring line we need. We're going to do 5 1/4 and 8 1/2. Right? So 1, 4 1/4, 5 1/4, 8 1/2. Okay. We're good with our scoreboard there. And now what we're going to do is take our scissors and we're going to make our box. Okay. So we need to go ahead. This is having the long side up top. We're going to cut all of our score lines. So we have this, the 1-inch score line, the 4 1/4, the 5 1/4, and the 8 1/2. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and miter those, and we're going to do the same thing on top. This one I didn't cut very well. I'm very shaky tonight. Okay. Alright, I'm just trying to go a little slow because I don't know why I'm so shaky. Alright, so we're going to flip it over, do the same thing. This is the long side. Cut, 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 and miter, and miter, and miter, and miter, and miter, and miter. Okay. Alright, so that's all we need to do. Now we need to varnish every score line except that light score line that we did on the short side, that middle score line. We do not want to do anything with that, okay? So you're going to leave it alone. You're going to varnish all the other score lines if you haven't already. I know some people like to varnish theirs before they cut. So you should only be varnishing the 1-inch and the 6 3/4 lines on the short side, okay? Do not varnish that light score line right there. Don't do it, okay? See how lightly I did it? You can't even see it. Alright, we're going to build our box. This is where you're going to choose if you want your T to be left or right. My T on this one's going to be the right because I'm going to make this the bottom. Alright, you're just building a box. So you're going to glue the bottom tabs, pull it up, make sure it is level. Center tabs need to go to the bottom box. And if you accidentally glue the center tabs to the top, this now becomes your bottom. It is no big deal, guys. Do not pressure yourself. Craft easy. It will be okay. We can fix it. It's paper. You manipulate it. You show it who's boss. Okay, so there you go. See how mine now has a bottom? Now we're going to go ahead and glue the top. Again, use your tear and tape, whatever you want. Wet glue. Oh gosh. I was too busy looking at the camera. I didn't even line these up properly. That's why I like wet glue, because it gives you a second to adjust if you need to. Okay. Now, what I meant to tell you was do not throw away that scrap when you cut your paper. Which I hope I didn't. Well, I have plenty of scraps. It was these 2 scraps right here. Alright, so with your bigger piece of scrap, you need to cut it at, where's my trimmer? Alright, you need to cut it at want to say it's 3 3/4. Let me measure it. I think it's 3 1/4, excuse me. Yeah, cut it at 3 1/4. So you're going to put it in the long ways, 3 1/4. This is your bigger scrap. Okay. There you go. And now what you're going to do is you're going to score it 3 equal parts. You can use your paper trimmer or your scoreboard. 3 equal-ish parts, as equal as you can get it. So it's going to be like 3/8, 3/4, and 1 1/8, I think. Yep. So 3/8, 3/4, 1 1/8. Okay. You can cut another scrap from another sheet of paper to make it measurements that are easier for you, but I'm just using the scrap. Okay. So what I've done is I'm gonna valley, mountain, valley. So you got something that looks like this. Okay. I'm gonna glue in my insides. This is just our little divider piece. You know what? We probably should have decorated our box before we put it together, but that's okay. I usually put my boxes together and decorate afterwards, but some people like it different. Alright, so this is where that faint score line comes in. If you measure correctly, you should be able just to sit this, line up the corner of your mountain with that score line, and it should be fine. You may have to trim just a little bit off, just a sliver, if it's too long. Okay, there you go. So you can do it that way, or you can actually measure. You know, it should be exact if you measured correctly for your card and your tea to fit. There we go. Which I did. Just this tea bag is a little bit bigger. There you go. Okay, so mine worked out this time. I measured correctly. Now you can permanently put the divider down or not. I'm going to permanently put mine down because I really like it. You can cover your bottom with pattern paper if you want. I felt it wasn't necessary, especially if you are doing a lot of these for like craft fair. I just felt it wasn't necessary. But some people don't like the, you know, the showing of the mechanism, so they're gonna, you know, do you. Alright, there's that, and perfect. I love it. Alright, let's work on the top. So our top is 5 3/4 by 3 1/4. So we're going to cut some paper. I'm going to do mine 3 1/8. Make sure you're doing your directions correctly. And then I'm going to do a tick mark less than 5 3/4, which is what? 5 5/8 is what that is. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut all of it down to 5 5/8. No, I'm not. I'm going to cut 2 inches off. It's very important you cut it like this if you only want to use one sheet. So cut 2 inches, cut that down to 2 by 5 5/8, which is the tick mark before the 5 3/4. And then we're going to cut it down again. So this is 2 by 5 5/8, and we're going to cut it down to 7/8. And this other piece to 7/8. Okay. Oops. So these are your two long sides. So 7/8 by 5 5/8. And then this 1 inch strip that we cut off, we're going to cut it down to 3. So these are going to be, actually we're going to cut it down to 7/8 by 3. So 7/8 by 3. So your sides are going to be slightly shorter, but we don't have to waste our paper. Okay. So see, it's just going to be, you're going to have a little bit bigger border on the sides, but I'm okay with that because I do not want to waste a whole nother sheet of paper just for what, 1/4 inch? Not even a 1/4 inch. All right, make sure our box opens correctly. And so our top and our long sides are going to have 1/8 of an inch border if you cut it the way that I cut it. Okay. And here is our border. Right. And then our border here. And then our 2 sides, because our 2 sides are like, they're 3 1/4, and so we're gonna have a, you know, a bigger border, but I am okay with that. I didn't even check to make sure I put the directional correct. Fingers crossed. Woo, winner. Okay, that one almost went on upside down. All right, so we're just gonna center it as best as we can. Again, we're gonna have longer borders on the side, but I think it still looks really nice. Okay, and then the other side as well. And make sure it's directionally correct. And there we go. All right, I think it looks gorgeous. Okay. Now I have all of our pieces ready to go. I glued the floral teacup to a solid basic white and crushed curry. I used garden green for these, and I used fresh Freesia for these. Here you go. I'll show you. Here's the leaf. Here's the stamp. And then I used Boom and Boom. Okay. And then I also used Let's Get Together Soon. And then I just cut it out. You know, just made a rectangle. You can use your punches. Oh man, I didn't glue these. Okay. Here you go. You're going to see the fine tip in action here. And we're just going to glue. You can do opposite colors. You can do the same color like I did here. Okay, that doesn't want to work, so I don't know where I just have a little needle that I stick in there, but I don't know where it is right now. It'll probably fell on the floor. I'm going to step on it later. This works just fine. You can use your adhesive sheet stamp. Okay, so for whatever reason, my camera cut out right as I was showing you how to glue the pieces together, which, I mean, is kind of self-explanatory. So I just used the fine tips, you know, to glue that on there. Actually, I think I used this one. It didn't matter. And then I just used some dimensionals on the back of the 2 cups, and here, the little saying, I added a flower trinket, and I added 2 of the brush metallic dots. So I'm not really sure why my camera cut out, because I have plenty of space on my computer, but I must have hit something or something. But that is it that I had to show you on the boxes. Oh, no, one more thing. If you want to add a finger pull to the top like this one, all you're going to do is take any of your circle punches. This is my 3/4 inch circle punch. And just make yourself the little, about halfway It's a little less than halfway because I forgot about that option. And then put your finger pull, and that's all. Put your tea and stuff back in there. Close your box. Okay. So, if you want to see teacups being put together, again, stay tuned for, it's not a tutorial, it's just showing you what I put together. I barely stamp in the video. I think I only stamp one thing. All the pieces are already put together, or not put together, but they're already cut. So if you want to stay tuned and watch me put them together, you absolutely can. But if not, the box tutorial is done. I hope you make it. I hope you make the cards. And again, stay tuned for the card put together if you like. Thanks, guys. With our cards, we're going to start with the yellow. This is using the back of one of the pieces. So I have my cardstock, which measures 3 by 6, scored at 3. I have my layering piece, which is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. I have my designer series paper, which is at, I had everything written down because I said I wasn't going to remember, and I don't. Let me see. Here we go. So this is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I have my inside piece, which I've already stamped, which is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And then my envelope has the flower and then the same sentiment that I have on the inside. So I will show you what I used. Sentiment and flower. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and, oh, okay, I did use these that I did not just show you. Those are, I used them on another project, so I put them away. Here we go. Classic matte dots. They're on page 142 or 143 as well. But I had some extra right here that I had left over from a different pack, so I'm going to use those. Okay. So let's go ahead and build. You can use your tape runners if you want to. I have this Stampin' Still here. It does take a little bit to get used to the Stampin' Still. I'm still not the best at it, as you can see, but I'm trying. Okay, I'm not going to try tonight. I'm going to use the old school Stampin' Up! Tape runner. Here we go. Or you can use, I probably use my liquid glue for the rest of them. Alright, so remember this is 3 by 6, scored at 3 on the long side. There's our first layer. I'm going to use liquid glue. And then here is our matting piece. 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And we're going to get that on there. Obviously, if you have directional paper, you're going to make sure your directions are correct. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and close and varnish. I like to use a squeegee. You can use a bone folder. I'm going to go ahead and put my inside piece, which is the 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, stamped with that sentiment and the flower. And we're going to go ahead and put that down. Again, if you have directional paper on the top, make sure your directions are correct. Okay. Get that glue in there. Stamp your envelope, so we're ready to go. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is go ahead and add our pieces. Actually, I don't need to show that. I put my pieces in the envelope. So I die cut a solid teacup, a floral teacup. I did a little scrap of white and a little scrap of black, and I used scraps for the tea bags. So let me show you on the die set here. I used this die, And the baby tea bag died, which looks like it's, oh, here it is. No, I think I used the smaller one. No, I guess it was that one. Okay. That's what I used. So this is where your needle point glue is going to come in handy. It's just easier. You can run it through if you have like one of those, I don't know what it's called, those sticker machines. You could use also the Stampin' Up! Adhesive sheets. But of course I didn't think of that until just now. That would have been so much easier if you just run it through, you stick your cardstock on an adhesive sheet, run it through your cutting machine, and it is sticky. I didn't do that. But as you can see, glue is just fine. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and line that up as best as we can. And I did not do that. Okay. And there you go, right? Now I chose not to pop anything up, so that way it's a flat card. You can pop it up if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and add my glue. Ooh, I almost put that on upside down. Line it up with the bottom. Wherever you would like it. I just kind of want mine floating there. And then I'm going to glue my teacup on. So this teacup is very functional. You know, you can use it with any cardstock, any designer paper. There's so many different combinations you can do. Okay, so I chose that. All I did was layer my crushed curry piece to my black, my basic black. Just a little tiny bit offset. I just wanted that to separate the colors there. So just kind of like that, however you like it. And then I glued it on like so. And I just kind of set it here where I thought it would look cute. Just at a little angle. Like so. Then I took a pencil and a gel pen. Actually, I think it's a marker pen. But I just took a pencil and I just kind of drew a string where I thought it would be cute. So I'm going to go ahead and loop-de-loop a little bit different on here. And then I just took a gel pen and just came down, added a little faux staple, like so. And then erased any additional pencil that I didn't need. My string got a little thick there, but that's okay. I think it still looks super cute. And then erase. Wait till your pen dries before you erase. And then erase, okay? There we go. Alright, so that's it. Add your gems, which I just had them in my hand. Oh, I used the U-Pick tool. I will show you that in just a second. And the Wink of Stella. Okay, so Wink. You can add whatever you would like on there, and that card is done. Okay, so page 128 is the Wink of Stella. It's number 5 on page 128. And then Take Your Pick tool is on page 155. It is number 8 as well on page 155. I got a new one, Take Your Pick tool, because the first one I had, it was latex and it made my hand break out and burn. But they sent me this one and said it came from a different batch that they were pretty sure it wasn't latex, and it's not latex. So if you have a latex allergy and you got it when they first came out, send it back because the new batches are not latex on the barrel. Okay. All right. So our card is done. It's ready to go in its packaging. So you can, you know, do these at craft fairs or, you know, Christmas gifts, little tea party gifts. Next, we're going to work on our Petal Pink card here. Okay. Here's all the pieces. Here's the design. Let's see if we can go a little quickly. Again, 3 by 6 scored at 3. Here's our envelope. I stamped using the sweet here, and then the little scallop leaves there, and same on the front. Okay. I use Real Red for this. Okay, so Real Red's another color. I probably use Real Red and not Cherry Cobbler, to be honest. Or both. Okay, so our envelopes and our clear envelopes ready to go. Let's go ahead. We can varnish if you want. It doesn't matter when you varnish, just make sure you do varnish. This one does not have a solid layer. It's just the cardstock. So 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And we're going to glue it down here. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead on the inside, and we're going to go ahead and glue our inside. The inside, I just put the word sweet. You can add anything you want in there, like so. And we're just going to add that. Okay. You can add, you know, another little flower. Actually, let's go ahead and do that so you can see a little bit of stamping. So what I'm going to do is grab the little piece of 3, I don't know, like leaves. I use my Stampin' Up! H block because I don't like the ink near my fingers. We're going to open it, we're going to stamp it, and we're going to move that so we don't get ink on our card. And we're just going to straight down and straight up. That's all. You can add more if you want. I may add one more. Okay, straight down and straight up. There you go. Perfect. You can wipe it on your chamois. I cut my chamois to fit what I needed it to fit. I don't know what I did with it right this second, but it comes in a large piece and it's purple. Okay, so we're done with the stamping. So now we just need to put everything together. I used the back of the same sheet designer series paper that we just used. See there? That's the back. I did the front. I've already glued our floral teacup on top of it using the thin needle nose glue. This one I actually popped up. I did not use glue, which is fine. So we're going to go ahead and add dimensionals. I did not need glue on that one, but I wasn't paying attention. So I'm just going to cut one. I do have mini dimensionals somewhere in this drawer, but I didn't pull them before the video, so mini dimensionals would have fit perfectly right here. But I didn't do it, so. Alright, so take off your little pieces, and we're just going to kind of put this just wherever you want it. I did stamp the sweet with the frame. I also popped that up. I kind of tucked it under as well. So we're just going to do a little sweet, just kind of, I think right there looks good. Like so. And I have a heart. You can use your glue dots. I'm gonna put the other half of that dimensional on the top of the heart, just so that way the top of the heart is not just like floating in space somewhere. Just make sure you can't see it in the dip of the heart. So the bottom of the heart is glued to the sweet, and the top is just put on with dimensionals, which I can't see right now because I can't see it. I'm just gonna do like this right now. There we go. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do again is take my pencil and make my string. So I just kind of sketched out what I want it to look like. You know, kind of like the faux tea bag in the, it's in the teacup. And again, I made a fake staple. So just put your little black mark and just trace your pencil. Let it dry this time. And we're going to use our gems. Okay, I use a big, a medium, and a small. So where's my pick tool? So I used a big one, I used the medium, and I used the small. Okay, there's that. So our card is done. We just got to erase our pencil mark real quick and put it in our packaging. Ready to go. All right, next we're going to do the Fresh Freesia card. Now I stamped the striped teacup on a piece of Fresh Freesia cardstock. I stamped it with, I actually stamped it with Blackberry Bliss. So Blackberry Bliss is this color here, and it kind of looks black on the Fresh Freesia, but that's what I used. And again, I used that stamp there. So, and this is where I used the gems for the July through December catalog, right? Alright, so let's find my base here. 3x6 scored at 3, varnished. Again, I do not have a layer, so this is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. I'm going to put it together. And we're almost done with these cards. And tomorrow you will get to see how we make that box. I know you guys are super excited for that. I'm going to go ahead and put my insides. I stamped the little like weeds. I kind of thought it looked like lavender when it was in the Fresh Freesia. So I'm calling it lavender. And I used a little stamp set that said, "It's time for tea." Again, this inside piece is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. Okay, the cover I stamped on my Fresh Freesia. I added the Stampin' Up! Twine. I actually had the twine left over from one of the paper pumpkin kits. There is twine in the catalog, but I used the paper pumpkin kit. And I used the flower die cut. Again, I did the tea bag, and I just drew that line to make it look like, you know, tea. The flowers are this here. That is one piece, and it die cuts in one piece, which is this right here. So that works out. If you stamp it, it works perfectly. I did ink the edges with the Fresh Freesia. Alright, so to put this together, I tied the twine, I added one of the flowers and the little "It's Tea Time." I used the border stamp in Memento Black, and I used the "It's Tea Time" in the Fresh Freesia ink pad because I used what I had. Alright, so I just glued a little strip of glue on the top. Now I'm going to add my dimensionals. I used well, you can use a glue dot to keep your twine in place. I don't know. I use quite a bit of dimensionals. I probably go overboard with the dimensionals, but I don't know. It makes me feel better, so. I also use the dimensional to hold that twine on the back where I want it to stay. Okay, so make sure your card's opening correctly, and we're going to put this kinda, you can put it in the center if you want. Mine's kind of towards the bottom. Here are my flower pieces, and how I did mine is I put glue, 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 a little bit of glue, and boom. As you can see, I'm not too picky with it. I just stick it on. Wherever it lands, it lands. Well, I need it to land right side up, but here we go. I did this one here, and I did this one here. There we go. All right, and these gems, I used 2 purple and this color. I can't think of the names right now, so we're just gonna go with what we got. Okay, and I used the tiny basic gem in the middle here because I like odd numbers. But this card has even, so it's okay. There you go. Okay, that card is done. And see, I also stamped the faux lavender there, and "It's Tea Time" there to kind of match the cards. Normally you would let these dry before you put them in the plastic, which I'm going to go ahead and do. Last card of the day. I think this one was my favorite one. This one here, I use Gorgeous Grape. Here's all my pieces. Let me see if I can get this one to stay. Here we go. I stamped the "Enjoy" on the flap, and then the back of the envelope got that. Okay, again, 3x6 square at 3. Varnish. This one is just the pattern paper, so 2 and 7/8 by 2 and 7/8. And here we go. And done and done. I cut out a solid teacup in Gorgeous Grape and a solid one in the designer paper. I just used the back. Okay, I just glued it on. I offset it so that way that green stripe did not clash with my busy background. Just barely offset it, just a tiny bit, about 1/8 of an inch on the left and the top. All right, dimensionals. Use as many or not as many as you would like. That other one, I did not put one on the handle, but it'll be okay. All right, so this one, it was basically in the middle here, and I glued the "Enjoy" on there. white glued, and I half dimensioned because the bottom of it is not going to be connected to the teacups, so you want to make sure it's the same height or it's just going to sag. I don't like that. Alright, so for me, I just put it all the way up to about there. Super cute. Have my little lemon slice. This is in the die cut. I just used, I actually used one of the pieces of papers is ombre yellow on the back, and so I just used that. Here's the lemon slice right there. And the lemon slice, I did glue. Actually, it's from the Hues of Happiness. It was a scrap from Hues of Happiness that was ombreed on there. Put your lemon slice how you like it. Pencil. Loop-de-loop and up. Pen. Loop-de-loop and up. Faux staple. You could use a real staple if you have those the little teeny tiny ones. I do, but I like the faux staples. Gems. One there. And I used, I think, the medium sized ones. Just, you know, just wherever you think they look good. Just gonna float this one kind of over here. Alright, perfect. Inside, have a little enjoy. Alright, glue and down. Okay, pencil and loop-de-loop and out. Pen, faux staple, loop-de-loop and out. Front eraser, and we'll give that a second to dry and then put the eraser. Alright, so our 4 cards are done, and they are absolutely stunning, I think. Not just because I made them, but because this collection is just stunning. And we will have our box tomorrow. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.